Imagine this. At the same moment, both North Korea and Russia decide to launch a nuclear strike on the United States. Within minutes, the fate of millions would be decided. But what would happen in those critical first moments? And what defenses does the US really have against such an unprecedented attack? When nuclear missiles launch, radar systems around the globe light up within seconds. Satellites designed to detect heat signatures and missile movements, such as the US Space-Based Infrared System, or SBIRS, would immediately identify the launch. Simultaneously, ground-based radar installations in Alaska, California, and other key locations would start tracking the missile paths. As these alerts flood into US command centers, the Department of Defense activates its highest level of readiness. Within moments, the President and top military officials are notified. These are the critical seconds. Officials would have only minutes to assess the threat, the number of missiles, and their potential targets. Now, let's talk about defense. The US has a multi-layered missile defense strategy, with the ground-based mid-course defense, or GMD, serving as the primary line of defense against intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, from nations like North Korea. This system includes interceptor missiles stationed in Alaska and California, specifically aimed at stopping missiles in their mid-course phase while they're still in space. When an incoming missile is detected, an interceptor is launched to collide with it at incredibly high speeds, destroying it before it reaches US airspace. But here's the problem. GMD isn't perfect. In test scenarios, it has a mixed success rate, especially against multiple simultaneous missiles. In addition to GMD, the United States uses the THAAD, or Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, and the Aegis ballistic missile defense, deployed both on land and at sea. THAAD is designed for shorter-range missiles and could protect areas on the west coast or key bases, intercepting missiles in their final phase, while the Aegis system can launch interceptors from Navy ships stationed off the coast. While these systems add layers of protection, they have limitations. They were not specifically designed to handle massive nuclear barrages from multiple directions. If North Korea and Russia launched enough missiles at once, even these defenses could be overwhelmed. Back on the ground, most civilians would likely have no idea what's happening in those first moments. Emergency alert systems would send notifications to major cities once an incoming missile is confirmed as unstoppable. But imagine the chaos. Millions rushing to find shelter, traffic jams as people try to flee, and panic gripping the nation. While some cities have fallout shelters and evacuation plans, most Americans live in areas without the infrastructure to handle such an event. Casualties would be immediate and massive, especially if major urban centers are targeted. In the minutes following detection, the United States would likely prepare a counterattack. Known as the Second Strike, this response is part of America's mutually assured destruction policy, ensuring that any aggressor would face total retaliation. Nuclear submarines, bombers, and ICBM silos stationed around the world would be ready to launch their own devastating strikes on Russia and North Korea. The result? A potential global catastrophe with millions of lives lost and untold environmental destruction. The fallout would affect not just the nations directly involved, but also cause widespread radioactive contamination across the globe. Fortunately, this scenario remains hypothetical, but it reminds us of the delicate balance our world exists in and the vital importance of nuclear disarmament. What would humanity's future be if we ever reach this breaking point? Subscribe and follow Syndrium for more what-if scenarios.